magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
You serious?
If you haven't seen the new Snow White trailer, it's, oof. I don't know how to describe it, but as a knockoff, wrapped in CGI and coated with an abundance of unearned hubris. But I'm not here to dissect the trailer. Many people have already done that. The Critical Drinkers video, for instance, is very good. You should go watch that. What I want to talk about is the core reason that this movie is going to be one of the worst bombs Disney has ever experienced. One to the tune of $270 million. And that's not even including promotional costs, so I imagine that this film's probably going to have to make around $500 million in order for it to break even, which, I mean, let's face facts, that's probably not going to happen. The issue goes far beyond the budget and these grotesque CGI monstrosities that should have stayed in the Uncanny Valley, or the rewrites and the reshoots. The issue is that modern Disney does not understand Snow White. And the most obvious sign of this issue is lead actress Rachel Zegler. A lot of people complain about Rachel Zegler for many different reasons. One of those being the fact that she's not as pretty as Gal Gadot. If the movie was being realistic, the evil queen would look at the mirror and ask, "Who's the fairest?" And the mirror would respond,
"Did someone shove a vacuum up your nose and suck out your last lonely brain cell?"
Not that Zegler's not pretty in her own right, it's just... Come on. I thought about this a lot, and there's only one woman, I think, that could truly do Snow White justice in the modern era. But let's face facts, Sydney Sweeney would not have pleased Disney's ESG masters because she's Snow White.
But why is this so accurate? Why is this so accurate?
And that leaves us with...
Weird.
That sucks. But you know what doesn't? Tea. You don't drink enough of it. That's why you should go to LionsTeaExchange.com. LTE's got all your tea needs, including amazing flavors that can match your mood like peppermint white chocolate and bourbon barrel chai. And it makes for a really good Christmas gift. Look at this box. It's majestic as fuck. But wait, now introducing the Ugly Box. What's ugly about it? Nothing. It's discounted because of superficial damage to the packaging. Hardcore! But no matter how goofy the box is, the tea inside is still the epitome of quality. So go to LionsTeaExchange.com and get yourself some Sid. Many people see Rachel Zegler as the biggest problem this film has, and it's understandable why people would think that. Zegler is the quintessential, entitled, self-absorbed modern celebrity. She's woke as hell and self-assured about it. She's so insufferable, she even badmouthed her own character's origins and bragged about changing her for that modern audience. Also, her politics make her better than you.
This is cancer. This is so much cancer that I can feel the tumors growing on my back.
But I digress. Zegler being the focal point of why a lot of people aren't going to go see this movie is actually the symptom of a much larger disease. Zegler and the modern writers at Disney don't know who Snow White is, or more accurately, what she represents. Take a look at what Zegler said about the original film.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
And what's this modern solution to this weird problem?
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
In other words, they see the original Snow White as weak. They see her as powerless and at the mercy of everything around her. So they're going to fix Snow White, and to do that, they're going to use the same tired trope that every girl boss movie has used for years now. It's going to be a hero's journey where she recognizes the power that she had inside herself all along. I'm tired, boss. What they fail to realize is that Snow White is one of the most powerful Disney princesses to ever grace the screen. The issue is that they can't see that because the lens of modernity makes it completely invisible to people like Rachel Zegler. It's true, the 1937 Snow White didn't lift a finger to fight or recognize inner power, because the power she held wasn't in her self-confidence or belief in her inner strength. Her power was in her capability to inspire change in everything around her for the better through her purity, kindness, and goodness. Snow White was so precious to everyone around her because she didn't just improve their lives with her presence, she inspired people to improve themselves. This is seen most accurately in The Seven Dwarfs. When Snow White arrives on the scene, they're instantly charmed by her beauty and kindness, with the exception of one, Grumpy. Even as Snow White is inspiring the dwarves to improve their own living conditions and health, Grumpy is resistant, refusing to take part. However, despite all the barbs and jabs he throws Snow White's way, she never responds in kind, always showing nurturing attitudes and kindness in return.
What you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, hella ass, the sun is still out.
Eventually, Snow White's purity wears down Grumpy's resistance, and he soon accepts that he truly cares for her, breaking his gruff exterior. I don't know if you recall this scene from the original movie, but to this day, it still holds up as a pretty heart-wrenching and dynamic moment, and in a strange way, oddly beautiful. When this scene was first released, there were people crying in the theaters because of how insane this moment was. People thought that Snow White had actually died, and at that moment, the audience became the dwarves. They wanted to bring the evil queen to justice. We wanted to pick up weapons and ride out in the name of punishing evil and preserving that beauty and kindness that had touched our lives. Ultimately, that evil was struck down by God himself. To this day, that pursuit sequence holds up as one of the greatest moments in animation history. But the audience didn't just relate to the dwarves in that moment. The audience, we as humanity, are the dwarves. We are all messy and grumpy and dopey and unrefined, but the moment that true beauty and kindness enters our life, it changes us for the better. We relate to the dwarves on a personal level, and defending that beauty, even if violently, is something that we are willing to do. Just like you should be hitting the subscribe button. Violently. Also join my Discord link below. Even after this sequence, a very interesting phrase pops up before it presents Snow White in her golden coffin with all of creation, including the dwarves, mourning her. So beautiful, even in death, that the dwarves could not find it in their hearts to bury her. She affected them so deeply that they were not willing to let her go yet. And just think about that in a spiritual or metaphoric context. She affected people so much that they continued to be inspired by her after she died. Snow White never had to swing a sword, or give some sort of inspirational speech, or display some sort of cheap inner confidence. Her undaunted kindness and optimism influenced everyone's loyalty, personality, and lives. She never had to pick up a weapon, as people were more than willing to do that for her in order to protect her safety and honor. That is power. And this is what the writers of this knockoff, this modern reinterpretation, don't get. To them, her tenderness is weakness, and her wish to settle down with the man that she loves is especially offensive to them. But again, they're missing one of Snow White's strengths. Hers is the desire to lay foundations with someone to grow, nurture, and ultimately multiply that prosperity, influencing people for generations to come. And this is the very essence and strength of femininity, and it's one that modern views, with its obsession with inner power relating to outer power, can't wrap its head around. And this is why the 1937 film is going to be remembered for ages and generations to come. And the modern Snow White retelling is, well, we're going to forget about it as soon as we possibly can. Pretty sure Disney will too. This modern version is a shallow shell of the one the original told, and one of the reasons why it will go down in history as one of the biggest Disney flops. The people who wrote it don't understand the power of quiet strength, the transformative grace of selflessness, or the profound impact of a pure and giving heart. Later.
Get